Well, hey guys, how's it going? You know, it's raining here, so yeah, wig. Um, I I love it when I come to you all and I have something I really want to talk about. Now, a lot of you know that I have decided I'm ready to start dating. And you're probably thinking, well, how do you determine you're ready to start dating? Because I'm feeling like myself again. It's not a chore for me to get dressed and put on, a little bit more than lipstick and some jewelry and to wear heels like that. That's no longer a chore. Now it's just basic me again. So yes, I feel like I'm ready to date. Now, I have been very lucky with the men I've had in my life. I was married for almost 12 years and then a 6-year relationship with someone I lived with. Now, one of the things that I do know that I probably didn't manage very well was that just because you have the same goals does not mean that you understand relationships and the give and take that they involve. I can honestly say that with my ex-husband, we were both ready to settle down. But it doesn't mean that we understood how relationships should work. And basically, we're just two people who didn't want to be single anymore. And with Leroy, we both realized that the other person was a hard worker and we had some of the same goals. But that doesn't mean that we understood relationships and the give and take involved to make them successful. It just means that you found someone you could build with. Now, since I don't want to make those same mistakes, even though I got lucky and they were great guys, but one still ended in divorce and one still ended in us breaking up and a month later finding out he had cancer and 3 months later he was gone. So even though there were no horror stories, they still basically were failed relationships. They were just better failed relationships than most people, have. So I decided this time, as I have gotten older and I have been able to look back on those relationships, I could see the part I played in not communicating well and not compromising. I can't speak for them, but I know the mistakes I made. So it would behoove me to make sure that whoever I end up with in the future has also done this soul searching, and they too now are capable of being in a relationship and understanding the give and take that it entails. So, without further ado, let's get into this a little bit more.
Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day.
First, I'm going to tell you a story that happened about 25 years ago, I want to say, with a guy I was dating. Now, 25 years ago, online dating was basically men looking for sex and women looking for someone to pay their bills. Now, yeah, I did it too. But, you can always say no to sex. And since I didn't need anybody to pay my bills, I got out of all of that unscathed. Okay? Because it's when you went in to that looking for something, then that was when it was hard to ignore the red flags. So fortunately for me, I didn't get caught up in anything. But there was this one guy, and I will never forget this. First, we had a coffee get-together, then we had lunch, and then we had dinner. And he let me know that he was dating for marriage. Now, they all say that. So, yeah. Now, me personally, yeah, if I met somebody I really liked, that would be great, but I was fine being single. And the reason why I was fine being single is because, one, by this time, of course, I'm divorced, and my daughter goes to her dad's every summer. So that gives me the opportunity to get out and about a bit and date, because I didn't date when she was home. And, being single means I didn't have to compromise, and I could pretty much do what I wanted to. Okay, so, by the fourth date, I felt comfortable enough with him to invite him to my apartment. And before anybody says anything, as I said, if you're not needing something, then you can be objective about the circumstances. I didn't feel unsafe. I didn't feel like there were any red flags. Yeah. So I invited him to my house. And one of the things he had asked me was, did I cook? Well, I absolutely did not cook. When my daughter wasn't there for the summer, I ate out every single night. But I told him, yeah, I do, all the time. So he comes to my house, and I give him a tour. We get into my kitchen. He turns around, looks at me, and goes, you don't cook in this kitchen. This kitchen is unfunctional. And there wasn't a damn thing I could say, because he was absolutely right. Yes, we still went to dinner, but that was the last time we went out, because I actually believe this guy really was looking for marriage. And that was the reason why he asked so many pointed questions. Now, I know as of right now, if I meet someone and I like them and I feel comfortable with them, then, sure, I'm going to do a coffee date, because I thought that was a great idea. A coffee date, a lunch date, and a dinner date. And if we can sit across each other for dinner after already, exhausting all the conversation from the coffee date and lunch date, and we can still find stuff to talk about at dinner, well, then at that point, I feel like maybe I'm interested in him, maybe he's interested in me, and maybe we have things in common and things that we enjoy talking about. So I'm probably going to invite him to my house. Now, before you all say anything, oh my God, you're going to get raped, you're going to get robbed, well, I think that my instincts work a little better than that, and I don't have anything to steal, unless you want to steal my fur coat. You know what? I never told you all the story of the fur coat. Let me tell you the story of the fur coat. Okay, while Leroy and I was together, he got a Christmas bonus from his job every year. And that Christmas bonus was his money to do whatever he wanted to. Because what was his, and what was mine's, and the house and everything in it, except the furniture, was ours. Okay? So, the first year, he got a wrap on his van for his business. And he was so proud of himself. And I was actually happy for him, because it took his business to a different notch. The second year, he put tires on that said van and on my truck. Now, this third year, he didn't say what he was going to do with the money, and I didn't ask him because it was his money. So we're going to go to D.C. for New Year's Eve, because he had friends there that are his childhood friends, and we would go to D.C. a lot to hang out with them and stay for, long weekends and stuff. So he said, babe, I'm going to need a new coat. And so, me, because I don't listen, I said, well, honey, I'm just going to wear my wool shawl. He goes, yeah, but I need a coat. And I'm like, okay, fine. So we go to Burlington Coat Factory, because, it sells everything plus coats. And so while he's looking around for a coat, I'm just, moseying around, just, looking at stuff. And then I see this fur coat. Now, technically, I know I can't afford this coat, because, we got bills, and I wasn't the one who got a Christmas bonus. Okay. Well, no, actually, I did get Christmas bonuses, but like I said, his money was his money, and my money was my money. So, I use my money for stuff in the house, okay, because that's why when I leave, everything in the house comes with me. So I tried this coat on, even though I know I can't afford it, because, why not? And this thing was $300 20 years ago. Okay? So I said, look, honey. And he goes, oh, that looks good. Are you going to get it? I said, nah. I said, I can't get it this week. I said, but you know what? If you bring me back here, because I didn't like to drive long distances even then. And, Burlington Coat Factory was a minute from where we lived. But it was on the way to D.C. I said, but if you bring me back next week, I can get it. He goes, oh, I ain't bringing you back next week. And I said, okay. He goes, but I tell you what I will do. I'll get you the coat. Merry Christmas. Don't say I ain't buy you shit. Yeah! Let me show you this coat. time I ever wear that coat is on New Year's Eve. And like I said, I haven't worn it in the last, almost 8 years. But he was the type of man who gave me the things I needed, not necessarily the things I wanted. When he put tires on my truck, I needed those tires. One year he bought me 5 vacuum cleaners because I needed new vacuum cleaners for my business. So, you know, certain men show love in different ways. That's why the coat and the friendship ring was, the other gifts were great because I needed them, but that showed his soft spot because it was something he knew I really would like as opposed to something I really needed. And I loved that about him. And, you know, that's the thing I think most women don't understand about practical men. They don't always do romantic stuff, but they still do things you really need. So, what I've decided is, just like that guy dated for marriage, and he knew exactly the qualifications he was looking for in a woman, I thought, you know what, this time I probably need to do the same thing, because whatever relationship I get in this time is going to be till death do us part. So let me tell you some of the qualifications I think I need for a long-lasting, healthy relationship. One, I already know I really don't want to deal with anybody else's family. And I don't really want to have a whole lot of interaction with their grown children. So if their family relationships with their parents or their siblings or their kids are like up their ass, I'm not interested. Because as much as I love my daughter and my sister, they are not going to insert themselves into my life like that, because they know I would not allow it, nor would I do that to them. So that is a big red flag for me, if you all can't stay out of each other's pocket. 2, what are the odds that your kid is going to go to jail or become a crackhead and we're going to have to raise your grandkids? Because I'm not down for that. I love my daughter to death. But I really hope that she doesn't go down that route, because that is just not something I want to do. And that is not something I want to be forced to do, because that's what happened with my partner's kids. I'm sorry. Call me selfish. But I just know that's not something I want to deal with. 3, you need to already be keeping a roof over your head, just like I'm doing. We can decide later on, do we move into your house? Do we move into my house? Or do we get a whole different house? Do we stay in the price range that we both are already paying and combine them together to get something bigger? Or do we stay in the price range that we're each paying individually, just somewhere different? And if we stay in the price range that he is already paying for the roof over his head, then I expect him to handle the rent. I think that's fair. But if I decide, no, I need us to have something bigger, then okay, I have to be willing to go 50-50. I think that's fair as well. But I refuse to move into someone's home. I know I'm probably different from most people, but I would really rather that this man that I date is living in an apartment. I do not want to live in someone else's home, because in my opinion that opens up a whole can of worms. Okay, a whole can of worms, and it's called possessiveness, because it's their home. So I probably wouldn't even entertain the thought of a man, just like boyfriend walked into my kitchen and said this is totally unfunctional for cooking. If a man said I own a home, I'd be done. I would absolutely be done. Now, I am not opposed to us both renting right now, and we go, you know what? With the money we're both paying for rent, we could probably just go ahead and pay a mortgage. I'd be open to that. But since we're both getting older, and I already have a history of arthritis, I am pretty sure he's going to have some problems too. So we just need to be honest about our medical history. You know, I'm not going to write a man off because he has a bad back. I mean, at this age, especially if you have led an active lifestyle. I mean, we're all bound to be a little wore down. Now, I hear on YouTube when they're talking about dating after 50 or 60, don't date a man that you have to become a nurse to. Okay, well, if he's on a heart machine when I meet him, I'm probably not going to. But it's also unrealistic to think that everybody is going to be in perfect health. Now, maybe there are some people, but I've lived a very active, outdoorsy, and physical lifestyle. So I am not perfect. I'm not expecting that from him either. But can we both manage ourselves? And do we like each other enough that if and when 4 or 5 years down the road something happens and someone needs some care, are we sure that we are in love with each other enough to be able to do that? And in all honesty, I would have to look at him and go, if he was down, would I be willing to wipe his butt and cut his toenails? If my answer is yes, then I would have to be able to get the same answer from him. If my answer is no, then it doesn't matter because I'm going to just not do it. Now this one is kind of tricky and kind of ignorant, but I think it's necessary to talk about. If you are my age, and it doesn't matter whether he's 55 or 75, if you get to the point, or I get to the point, that we need each other to care for each other, then the life insurance policies need to be in either one of our names. You want to leave your kids a little something, something, fine. But if you want to leave your kids everything, then you get them to take care of you. I think that's fair. So, I think this is my last one. At this point, I enjoy my home time. Yes, I feel better now. I actually go out to dinner once in a while. I'm still not going camping by myself because that's too much work. But I am not interested in somebody who cannot spend time at home. And I'm sure, some of you ladies have met some of those guys. They got to be on the go all the time. Quite frankly, I'm just not trying to do all that. Yeah, I don't mind if we do stuff sometimes, but I actually enjoy my relaxed time. I'm 64. I want to relax, and I hope that he feels the same way. But I have no problem with us planning special trips here and there. And actually, I would love for us to get an RV. I would love to do that. And finally, if we decide to stay in the same price range of wherever we live based on what he is paying now to keep a roof over his head, as I said before, I expect him to pay the rent. And I'm going to go part-time at work. And that is not even up for debate. So, you all let me know in the comments section whether I'm being unrealistic or whether I'm being very realistic. Do I have good discussion points? Did I miss any? Do you think I'm totally out of bounds? Do you think I'm actually on a good track? You tell me in the comments section. Until the next time, take care, stay blessed, and I'll see you then. Bye.